Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about how to talk to your teenager, especially when there is a worry or concern of them harming themselves. You know, parenthood, it's hard. And sometimes knowing how to even address things such as suicide, that can be difficult and tricky to know how to even approach it, how to even start that conversation. It's an uncomfortable topic for a lot of us. So even though we may have that concern that we know we need to address with our child, that we know we need to talk to them so we can figure out what to do, knowing how to actually begin that conversation or how to bring up those concerns, that can be stressful, especially if we're not sure how. So I'm hoping in this workshop that you will be able to feel that a little bit more at ease as we guide you through those steps. And the key points that we're going to cover are how to prepare yourself, what to say, and then what to do. You know, our children, this is a tough time of, teenagehood. The suicide rates are increasing and it's scary. So they need us. They need us more than ever. And we need to have those conversations with them so that they know that we care, but also so that we know how to help them if they are in need of help. So we need to face these things head on, no matter how uncomfortable it is. And just remember, as you begin to plan out for your conversation with your child, that time is necessary to block out. You want to have as much time available as possible so that it would avoid any interruptions. You want to make sure that they have enough time and that you're not needing to cut anything short due to an obligation. You want to make sure that you just don't know how it's going to go. You just don't know how the conversation will flow. And so you just want to make sure that you've given enough time for that. And then, of course, with cell phones, turn them off, put them away, don't bring them. They're just a huge distraction. So the first step is to find a quiet place and a private place to talk. You know, it is easier to have that one-on-one conversation, easier for them to feel safe, to be able to express their feelings with you when you've given yourself a nice quiet place to talk between the two of you. So the next thing is to stay calm. Now, you may be feeling stressed, you may be feeling worried or upset, but keeping yourself calm will allow for a better experience. It will allow for them to feel more safe. It'll allow for them to open up more. And then acknowledge. You need to acknowledge your worries or concerns. This is the first step of your conversation, the first thing that you will begin with. And you can use for acknowledging what you've noticed or you're worried about, phrases similar to this. So the first one is, I've noticed. Like, I've noticed you've been acting differently lately. I have noticed that you've had a hard time getting out of bed. Or maybe I'm concerned. Like, I'm concerned about you and wanted to see what is bothering you. I'm concerned and wanted to see how I can help you. Or even another one to consider is, I'm afraid that. Like, I'm afraid that you are struggling with something. How can I help you? So these are 3 good possibilities, but there are even more. I just wanted you guys to take a moment and pause this video, practice these starting phrases for sharing your acknowledgments and concerns, and see if you can come up with 1 or 2 more starting phrases that you can consider as well. Just remember that you want to do 2 things. You want to respectfully acknowledge changes in them, and that you want to address your concerns for them. So go ahead, pause, and then come back when you're ready. You know, our kids, they may be internalizing way more than we think. Maybe they are showing lots of warning signs of suicide. Maybe they're isolating themselves more and more. Maybe they have a drastic change in their behavior or mood, becoming aggressive and irritable. Maybe they're starting to feel worthless or a sense of hopelessness. Maybe they feel like they're beginning to be a burden, or even if a possible struggle with substance abuse. Whatever the case is, whether they're showing many of the signs or only a few, we need to show compassion for what they are willing to open up with. So after acknowledging, you want to ask. And asking is going to be the hardest step. This is not a time to beat around the bush or to say something that they will need to decode. You need to be direct and forthright. And the best thing you can do is just to ask, just straight out. Have you thought about hurting yourself? Or, something like, have you thought about suicide? Asking these questions straight out, they will not put ideas into their head. So please don't be concerned or worried about this. There is absolutely nothing that you can ask them that they haven't already heard through either social media, through school, or even through their peers. So do not be afraid. And then listen. Listen to what they're having to say. Just listen. Don't feel the need to take over the conversation, and ask open-ended questions if you're needing to help keep the conversation going, but give them the time and the space they need and just listen. And then show compassion. Your child needs you. They need you to be compassionate. They need to know that you care. They need to know that you love them, especially if their world is completely caving in on them. So with these tools and with these steps, I hope that you can go forward and feel a little bit more secure with talking to your teenager. And just remember that we as parents, we're right there with you. We're all just trying to do our best and raise our kids the best that we may know how. And I wish you the best on this journey. And just remember that you can do this. Good luck, and thank you for listening.